Grant, class of 2022, and I have the distinct honor of introducing our guest presenter this morning, the Honorable Tanya R. Kennedy. Justice Tanya R. Kennedy was appointed as an Associate Justice of the Appellate Division, 1st Department in July 2020. Prior to her appointment, Justice Kennedy served as a Justice of the Supreme Court, New York County. She was elected to civil court in November 2005 and thereafter served in criminal court and also family court. She has served as acting Supreme Court Justice and as supervising judge of civil court, New York County. She is also a former adjunct professor at Fordham University School of Law, where she taught a juvenile justice seminar for 10 years. Before her election to civil court, Justice Kennedy served as principal law clerk and also as an assistant corporation counsel in the Bronx Family Court Division. She also served in the Bronx Tort Division, where she was promoted to tort trial specialist and later to assistant deputy chief. Justice Kennedy is a member of the board of directors of the New York City Bar Association, Women in Law section of the New York State Bar Association, Pattern Jury Instruction of Association of Supreme Court Justices of the State of New York, Board of Overseers of the Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law, where she received her law degree, and an advisory board member of Penn State Law. Justice Kennedy is a past president of the National Association of Women Judges. After organizing a legislative caucus on Capitol Hill, focusing on ensuring a healthy work environment for women, Justice Kennedy led NAWJ in trademarking #WeToo in the legal workplace. She also established the Americans with Disabilities Act compliance policy, law school outreach, LGBTQ, and technological committees as NAWJ president to further the organization's mission to ensure equal access to justice for all. Justice Kennedy is a product of the New York City public school system and a single-parent household, whose mother worked 2 jobs during Justice Kennedy's early childhood and made sacrifices to ensure she knew life existed beyond the Bronx. Justice Kennedy's mother also instilled in her the value of education and the importance of serving others. Justice Kennedy has hosted summer interns from the Sonia and Selena Sotomayor Judicial Internship Program and from Brooklyn Technical High School, her alma mater. She is committed to the pursuit of higher education and served as a mentor through her visits to various churches, schools, and other organizations as a motivational speaker. Justice Kennedy holds active membership in the New York Coalition of 100 Black Women, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, NAACP, and is also a member of the Abyssinian Baptist Church. She is a woman of unyielding faith. Justice Kennedy's honors include Distinguished Alumna Award from Penn State University, the Diversity Trailblazer Award from the New York State Bar Association, Brooklyn Technical High School Hall of Fame designation, Diversity Leadership Award from Penn State, and the Alumni of the Year Award from the Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law. After a brief musical selection by soul singer and songwriter Donny Hathaway entitled Young, Gifted, and Black, the next voice that you will hear will be that of the Honorable Tanya R. Kennedy.
morning, highlight 10 gifted and talented Black women who showed endurance and strength while making their mark in society, despite the societal and racial barriers they faced. I'm sure you learned all about Rosa Parks, the mother of the Civil Rights Movement, who refused to give up her seat on a city bus to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama, and was arrested on December 1st, 1955, launching the Montgomery bus boycott by 17,000 Black citizens. But before there was Rosa Parks, there was Claudette Coleman, who was arrested when she was 15 for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a crowded, segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama, and was one of the named plaintiffs in the 1956 case of Browder v. Gale, where the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that bus segregation was unconstitutional. She is still with us and is now 82 years young. Before there was Venus and Serena Williams, there was the dynamic duo of Margaret and Matilda Peters, two sisters who played doubles from the 1930s through the early 1950s under the American Tennis Association, the ATA, the oldest Black sports organization which still exists. The ATA was formed to provide Blacks the opportunity to play competitive sports nationally, since the USTA, then known as the United States Lawn Tennis Association, prohibited Blacks from playing up until the 1950s. These two sisters won 14 doubles championships in the ATA, and Matilda won 2 ATA singles titles. They were inducted into the USTA's Mid-Atlantic Section Hall of Fame in 2003 and into the Black Tennis Hall of Fame in 2012. Bessie Coleman, the first Black woman to hold a pilot's license and an international pilot's license. She was the first Black woman to perform a public flight in 1922 and was famous for her stunt flying and aerial tricks. In 2001, she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame and into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame at the San Diego Air and Space Museum in 2014. Safiya, you're gonna follow this woman's footsteps. Charlotte E. Gray, the first Black woman lawyer in this country who graduated in 1872 from Howard University School of Law, which is the same law school that Vice President Kamala Harris graduated from. However, due to racism and sexism, she was unable to maintain her law practice and became a public school teacher in New York. I certainly stand on the shoulders of this woman, Judge Jane M. Bowen, the first Black woman judge in the United States. She was the first Black woman to graduate from Yale Law School and was 31 years old when she was appointed in 1939 by Mayor Fiorella LaGuardia to New York City's Domestic Relations Court, which is now known as Family Court, where she served for 4 decades. Mahalia Jackson, she was one of the artists featured in the Hulu documentary Summer of Soul, and known as the Queen of Gospel. She was the first gospel artist to tour Europe and had her own gospel program on the CBS television network in 1954. She was an active supporter of the civil rights movement and sang at the 1963 March on Washington at the bequest of her friend, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., before he delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech. She also sang at President John F. Kennedy's inauguration. Madam C.J. Walker, she was the first self-made woman millionaire in this country who made her fortune developing and marketing a line of cosmetics and hair care products through the company she founded, the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company. She was an active philanthropist who donated millions of dollars to various causes, promoting racial justice and equity. Her private residence, a 34-room mansion. Imagine that, a 34-room mansion in Irvington, New York, named Villa Lararo, which was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1976, and it still stands. Reverend Dr. Paulie Murray, a civil rights activist, lawyer, author, and the first Black woman to be ordained as an Episcopal priest in 1977, which is the first year that women were ordained by that church. She was also one of the co-founders of the National Association for Women, now in 1966, which still exists. Marian Anderson is the first Black singer to perform at the White House and as a member of New York City's Metropolitan Opera. However, due to her race, the Daughters of the American Revolution, which owned Constitutional Hall in Washington, D.C., refused to rent her concert space to perform there. Now, I'm going off script for a second. Certainly, I have time limitations. So, I encourage you to find out more about the Daughters of the American Revolution. Find out about that story, because one thing I don't want to do today, I don't want to go overtime and I don't want to be kicked off. So now I'm back on script. But that refusal led to an outcry, a protest from many, including then First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, who helped arrange a concert for her on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on Easter Sunday in 1939, where she drew an audience of 75,000. Miss Anderson was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1963 and received a Grammy Award for Lifetime Achievement in 1991. Last, but certainly not least, before there was Vice President Kamala Harris, there was Shirley Chisholm. In 1968, that was the year after I was born. She was the first Black woman elected to the U.S. Congress, as well as the first woman and Black person to seek the nomination for President of the United States from one of the two major political parties in 1972. And she ran on the Democratic Party ticket. I believe that Madam C.J. Walker and the other 9 women I highlighted lived by these pearls. Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. Perseverance is my motto. I got my start by giving myself a start. You too can persevere, make your own opportunities, and give yourself your own start. It is my hope that this presentation has provided you with a glimpse of how these women contributed to our society and has sparked your interest in learning more about these Black women and other forgotten Black heroes. So, young ladies, I see some men in the room, young men, men at heart, go forth, persevere, make your own opportunities, and give yourself your own start. This is an order from the courts. Again, thank you for inviting me today. Happy Black History Month, because Black history is American history. Thank you.